How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Clocks on the Stove, episode 11. Usual host, Grayson Fisher. We got Big Meech back in the building.
Yep.
Today we got a little guest host. We got Tabatha. Tabatha, how we doing?
I'm doing great. First podcast ever. Excited that you guys are my first podcast. Excited to talk about an exciting first week of football.
Hell yeah! So we had second week of college football this weekend, and we had opening kickoff and weekend for NFL minus the game tonight, Monday night game. So let's talk about a little bit of college football. So as of we talked about in the past, Big 12 obviously is not really knowing what they're doing. They're losing Texas and Oklahoma to SEC. Like, it's signed on the dotted line. It's official. And then there's been rumors of other teams wanting to leave. There's been a lot of rumors of Big 12 not happening because now you have the Pac-12 expansion with the Pac-12, Big 10, and ACC. But as of yesterday, or as of game day Saturday, I believe, or maybe Sunday, maybe yesterday, the Big 12 announced that they're looking to add BYU, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati. What do we think about that, Meech?
That's right. Dude, I think that's honestly good for at least FAU because, I mean, the Big 12 is kind of trash, so they're not even – what do they have, like 8 teams as of now? They don't even have 12.
No,
so,
I'm pretty sure they got like 12. I'm pretty sure they got like 10 or 12.
I think it's less because why would they expand? Anyway.
You're losing you on connection.
You're losing me?
Yeah. No, you're good.
So, what is it? The American Athletic Conference, the AAC, gets a little confusing with all these different names. But yeah, the AAC, I mean, that conference is, they'll probably scrap it if UCF and Cincinnati leave. So those are like big powerhouses. Or I could see like FAU and like some other teams from different like non-Power 5 conferences going and moving up into the American.
So you think you think the AAC will keep its like prestige that it is, or you think it'll become like more relevant?
No, it'll definitely, like, I'd say that's probably like the 6th best conference. Like, it's the Power 5 and then the American.
I think you could argue that some years it's better than the Pac-12.
Better than the Pac-12? I don't know about that. You could argue.
It's a good conference. It's a good conference. It's a good conference.
Because sometimes the Pac-12 is nasty with Oregon and USC. So, yeah, I don't know about that, but
I agree. Let's get the ball rolling. So obviously the big game at 12 o'clock was number 12 Oregon at number 3 Ohio State. Oregon pulled the shocker off and upset them, but nobody saw 35-28. Oregon's running back C.J. Verdell balled out, 161 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns, 34 reception yards, and a touchdown. Anthony Brown balled out for the second week in a row, Oregon quarterback, 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. And although Ohio State lost this game, Stroud is still showing himself to be a very legit quarterback. He went 35 of 54, 484 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. I thought going into that, I thought Ohio State was going to blow them out. I thought it was going to be like a 49-14 game. Ohio State was going to destroy them. But that's Ryan Day. So the head coach for Ohio State, Ryan Day, his first loss in the regular season and his first home loss ever while being at Ohio State.
Dude, the thing is, like, in the beginning of the season for all college teams, all these teams have, like, a brand, like Ohio State or, any school that has a brand, Notre Dame. They always get overranked so high, and then by the end of the year, like, they're not even ranked, or they're, a team that's, like, ranked number 3 will drop down to number 20 by the end of the year. And then at the end of the season, when they're counting up teams that have like significant top 25 wins over bowl teams or over ranked teams to get into a bowl, it's always like, oh, look back when I beat this Ohio State when they were
7-5 team, but they were number 2.
Yeah. So that it's like all politics. It's a bunch of bullshit. So like you got to let the season play out.
No, I completely agree. I think that it makes college football a little more interesting though, because Ohio State's always top dog. And the Big Ten's completely weird now. What, like Iowa, Michigan, and Penn State are the top 3? Like, that's weird. It's just it throws a good curveball in there. It throws a fun curveball in college football. It's always Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, or Oklahoma. Like, it throws a nice fun curveball in there.
Exactly, and they always, no matter what their team really looks like at the beginning of the year, those teams are always going to get a heads up just because of their history, which
No,
is
hundred
kind of
percent, yeah. Well, if you're Ohio State, or this goes for like any big program, like an Alabama, or even like I can't even say Florida State, but any big program like that, like even when you play a team that's 0-10, they're gonna give you the best they absolutely have because they know they're on that spotlight. So like Oregon might not even been like a better team than Ohio State. They just knew like what they had to play to beat them.
Yeah, and they probably do have better, just as good of a team.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like Ohio State's definitely overrated, but we'll see. I mean, but how about Florida State losing to Jacksonville State?
Yeah.
You can't let that happen. I don't care, like, dude. I don't care about rankings. I don't care about how do you let Jacksonville State come into Tallahassee and you lose on the last play of the game? Like, how do
Bro,
you let
how
that
do you go? How do you play Notre Dame in a game that you should have won last weekend, and put up like 40 points on Notre Dame, and then you can only put up 17 or 20 against Jacksonville State? Like,
Yeah.
bro, the Florida State defense is no joke though. Their defense is very legit. But how are you not putting points up on Jacksonville State? How are
Dude,
you not
nothing about them is legit. They lost to Jacksonville State, bro. They're not even really D1. They're D1 AA or FCS.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That was a rough
Yeah, you
game.
Florida State.
So other big games that happened, we had number 5 Texas A&M barely beat Colorado 10-7 at Colorado. Isaiah Spiller receiving touchdown out of the backfield with 2 minutes left. Notre Dame barely beats Florida State last weekend, and then barely beats Toledo this weekend at home. That's weird. Both their games win by a field goal. FSU upset by Jacksonville State. Iowa State this week's college game day. Number 10 Iowa knocks out number 9 Iowa State 27-17. And then with the news today, number 14 USC losing to Stanford 42-28. And then about literally 10 minutes ago, USC just fired their head coach Clay Helton. Don't know if you saw that. I don't really know what to think about that.
So USC is ranked number 14th, and they just lost to Stanford.
And then they just fired their coach. They just fired their coach about 10 minutes ago.
I saw Stanford started their backup quarterback or some kid that's he was a high recruit coming out of high school, but that was 3 years ago. So I guess
think I don't think he's that good of a coach. I've never been a big believer in him in the first place, but I'm not a big believer in firing a coach in week 2 also. That just ruins everything.
I mean, I thought Stanford really weren't supposed to be a good team at all.
At all. But that is a rivalry game, so that's kind of like a Florida State, Florida, Ohio State, Michigan, anything can kind of happen.
Still, it's not like a USC UCLA rivalry. I don't give a shit if it's a rivalry. If you lose to a shitty Stanford team, I mean,
yeah,
I can understand it, but I know what you mean.
No, and then I would say the next big thing was definitely number 15 Texas got destroyed by Arkansas 40-21.
Dude, I've been wearing that Arkansas hat all week, and I don't even like Arkansas. And then somehow they come out and they fucking smack Texas. So.
Dude, it's just funny because, well, first of all, let's just go over real quick what happened. So Texas couldn't finish any drives. They just announced they're starting their other quarterback next Saturday against Rice. They just can't figure it out. Arkansas destroyed them in the run game. 333 yards of rushing and 4 touchdowns with 4 different Arkansas players with rushing touchdowns. And then after the game, Arkansas trolls it with a welcome to the league tweet as, Texas is going to the SEC soon. If I'm a Big 12 fan of any team in the Big 12, or especially Oklahoma and Texas, I'm shitting my pants from that game. I'm shitting my pants because you're arguably a top 1 or 2 team in the Big 12, and then you just got routed by a bottom 6 team in the SEC. Meech, you there?
In progress.
Oh. You there?
Oh, yeah.
I'll chime in if Meech is having some problems.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm listening to all this happening in college and the whole, Big 12 news. When you think of a Big 12, it's obviously, Kansas State, Oklahoma, TCU, Texas, Baylor, all these top dogs. And I'm kind of, not too excited about UCF joining and all of that. But seeing all these upsets happen, I'm kind of interesting because it is the beginning of football to to see that maybe this, whole kingdom might fall and there might be a whole new Big 12 of their own. Schools like Oregon and stuff and all these upsets, Arkansas, they might make their own name, their own Big 12, because we've had them wrong for a long time. So maybe this expansion and all these upsets are going to be, a new history line forming.
No, for sure. And I think the one thing to piggyback off that, Tab, the one thing that's really interesting too is like if you take football out of the equation, right? So you take football out of it, every one of these universities, every sport they have transitions into that conference. It's not like, oh, our football team's Big Ten, but then we play in the SEC. That doesn't work like that. On top of that, the conferences that are made now, like before the Oklahoma, all that transition, they're made based off geographical location. They're not based off of like who's good at football, who's not. So I think it changes recruitment a lot too, because it's weird because the Oklahoma and Texas, they don't really have a Southern SEC vibe, and you don't get a Mountain West vibe from like Memphis, Tennessee, or from UCF, or Cincinnati, Ohio. So it's really interesting from that, like taking away football from it, like how you're going to recruit kids from, how you're going to get a kid from Austin, Texas, or from Oklahoma, like Yeehaw country to go to Cincinnati, Ohio, or Orlando, Florida. That's not the same. It's not the same geographical, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. That's going to be, I think, challenging too if we're expanding that much beyond this like congregated area that they have and the geographical locations. But it might make things a little bit more interesting because a lot of these teams, I always think about it too, watching some of these poor teams go from hot southern states to cold northern states. They have no idea how to perform in these negative temperatures. So, it might be interesting to see some of these northern states or like these, colder areas like Colorado and Iowa to come over down to UCF and see how they maybe perform in a completely different climate,
No, for
completely different
sure.
location.
Or like
guys
vice
that you have
versa,
no
too.
idea.
Yeah, or like Kansas playing in Cincinnati in the snow, or like Oklahoma or Texas Tech, they don't get snow, and then you're taking them to Cincinnati in the end of November. Like they've never done that either. So I feel like that's definitely something very interesting to bring up.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. But like that's been going on like the ACC, like Boston College is in the ACC. They're in fucking Boston, so.
No, yeah, but dude, you went from the highest North team in the Big 12 was what, Missouri, and then they went to what, Nebraska. That's the highest North.
It's cold out there.
Yeah, Iowa State too. Iowa State, yeah, they're North. But just to finish off the college football, so we can get to what everyone really wants to hear about. So that happened. Very concerning for the Big 12. What's going to happen, knowing that one of your top tier teams just get routed by a very low ranked Arkansas. And I'm not taking that away from Arkansas. Maybe it's a team that they ball out this year and they come out of nowhere. But from what it looked like, I'm pretty sure Texas was like a minus 25 favorite. And the last close game, we had number 22 Miami beating App State on a game-winning field goal, 25-23. A lot of upsets, a lot of interesting football.
Ranked?
Yeah.
Who did they lose to the week before?
They got routed by Alabama.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the college football wrap up. A lot of interesting things.
Was it packed?
Upsets. What?
Was the FAU game packed? You guys got
it was a regular FAU game.
It's pretty
really?
regular.
They're like hyping it up on Twitter, like, yo, it's so packed.
Student section was definitely packed, but I kind of sat in the end zone so I could see a little bit more action going on.
Yeah, the student section is like on the side now, right?
Yep.
It used to be the end zone. I mean, that changed probably like my junior year, but I remember, Grace, I don't know if you were there when Devin Singletary was there running all over the place. Yeah. That was FAU glory days. Lane Kiffin.
I still have my Lane Kiffin button I was wearing to all the games.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's move on now to the big boy football, NFL. We started off the season Thursday night kickoff game, Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Dallas Cowboys. Bucks pulling it off in a classic Tom Brady game-winning drive, 31-29. But no one's really talking about Brady right now. Everyone's talking about Dak, 42 for 58, 403 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You guys catch a glimpse of that game? What are we thinking about that game?
Yeah, I'm actually I honestly just saw the end of it. I saw the highlights, but I really watched the end of it, and Brady just did what, as much as I hate him, he's still doing it. He's still the master at leading a team down the field to win the game. And I don't know when he's going to stop. I thought he was going to retire like 7 years ago, and I every year I say he can't win another Super Bowl. He can't. He's beat the Jets as long as I've been alive, so I don't even want to talk about Tom Brady. That's how much I hate him. That's all I have to say about that.
Tab?
Kind of. I don't have that much hatred for him, but it is odd seeing, also seeing Patriots not have Brady and they really scam, and seeing Brady perform on the Bucks. Everyone was, expecting the Bucks to go crazy, but I think it was a little bit of a nail biter for them. It was a little bit too close for Brady, in my opinion, for being the GOAT. I think the GOAT should be performing a little bit better than that, but Dak definitely did steal the show. I think that's the only reason they did end up beating the Cowboys, but I expect a little bit better from Tom Brady, considering everyone calls him the GOAT.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
as a Buccaneers fan, though, when you have everyone calling you the GOAT and you're the only quarterback ever to return from a Super Bowl winning team that won at home, and on top of that, you're the only quarterback ever to win back-to-back Super Bowls with the same team, you're going to have some pressure, and you're probably not going to have the best first game.
Don't give me
Probably
that
not going to.
shit. Pressure.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if his stats were ugly. It doesn't matter if he played well. He had a game-winning drive. He won the game. Yeah, sometimes it's not pretty, but you got the job done. I think the
Crown
Dallas
does
Cowboys
hold heavy.
I think the
I guess
Cowboys
you're
are a
right.
very solid team. I think they came ready. It's opening kickoff game. It didn't matter who you're playing that game. All the eyes are on you. You're going to bring your best performance. And I think Zeke is dog shit. I think Zeke is overrated. I think he had his glory days are past him. And I think you can't have Dak throwing 52 passes a game and expect to go to the playoffs. This is the NFL. This isn't the Pac-12. This isn't the Big 12.
58
And if he can't establish a running game, you have one of the best O-lines in the NFL. There's no reason why you're only getting he had 44 yards that game. Come on,
A couple
bro.
of their O linemen were hurt, and honestly, their line isn't as good as it was. Those guys are getting old.
44 yards though, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Zeke. I really thought he was going to bounce back this year. Dude, I don't know what it is. Like, it doesn't look like he's lost it. It's just maybe the O-line's not as good as it was. But, dude, he was a beast. But
When everyone's talking like the presence of Dak being back is going to help him. Well, Dak's presence was completely there, and he did nothing.
Dak?
No, I'm talking about Zeke. Like, everyone's saying, oh, when Dak comes back, Zeke will be better because, like, they'll focus on Dak more. Well, Dak was there 100%, and Zeke didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's one game, but we'll see. Yeah, he's not. He hasn't performed. Everyone blamed it on Andy Dalton being out there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with him.
Let's move on to that. Next game, we got the Eagles ran through the Falcons 32-6. Only thing I have to say is I don't know why they still have Matt Ryan. I think they should just move on him. And I've been saying it since he came, since he got beat out by Tua at Alabama. Jalen Hurts is a legitimate quarterback. 264 for 3 touchdowns. I don't understand this hate. I don't understand why people don't believe in him. The man is a quarterback, and he's proving it, and he does it every week. And that's all I said. I'm a Jalen Hurts ride or die, man.
I've liked Jalen Hurts since he was a freshman at Alabama. I don't know why they benched him for Tua in the first place at Alabama. I think he's easily better. He was on the roster with Mac Jones and Tua, and I think he'll be a better NFL quarterback, and he isn't a better quarterback right now. But, yeah, I mean, look at what Jalen Hurts did. 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. And, dude, I honestly thought the Falcons, they're trash, but they came out looking bad. Like, I thought the Eagles, a lot of people projected to be, like, one of the worst teams in the league. And for them to come out and just smack the Falcons like that. Did you see the picture of Matt Ryan just, like, laying on his stomach, just dead on the field? Like, dude, he is washed. Who's the backup in Atlanta? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it used to be that Virginia kid, but he went to Green Bay, I think. Kirk McKinnon.
yeah,
They do not look any better than they did a year ago. Like, they're so rusty offensively. I feel bad for their coach because I believe it's Arthur Smith. Like, this was like his debut. And this poor man is just being, drugged under the bus because of Matt Ryan. And I thought the Falcons were honestly going to clap them, but it was vice versa. And I don't really like the Falcons to begin with. I don't like Matt Ryan anyways, but I'm honestly, the fact that the 6 points didn't even come from, a touchdown with a failed, kick. It came from just 2 field goals in the first and second period or quarter doesn't really help them either. They had to just settle for 2 field goals, which is pretty lame.
I agree. Now, if you guys can recall, who was their first round draft pick this year? I can't remember.
I have no idea. But I don't think, did they have a high up pick? Because I think by the time it got to them.
They got Kyle Pitts, first round.
Oh, that's right. Duh.
Yeah, but see, look,
Yeah.
I agree. No, listen. I completely agree. Kyle Pitts is a dog, but they should have cut Matt Ryan and gotten a QB instead.
But who was there when they were picking Mac Jones?
I don't know what pick he was.
Because honestly, at this point, if you're the Falcons, I don't know if I guess they're rebuilding now, but like I guess they thought they could get like another year or two out of Matt Ryan, and then you pick up Kyle Pitts, who's like a generational tight end, so they say.
Dude, he
I
was
mean,
the fourth
get it.
pick, bro. He was the fourth pick. They had any quarterback they wanted.
Yeah, but who? Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Mac Jones, or you get Kyle Pitts and ride with Matt Ryan? I don't know. That's a tough one.
How's Ryan with Matt Ryan going for them so far, Meech?
Yeah, but I'd rather go 14 now, or 3-13 and 3-14 it would be, right?
Yeah, 3-14 now. Yeah, 3-14.
Yeah, 3-14, and dude, get like Spencer Rattler or whoever is the first pick in the draft. That's what I would do. Yeah, right.
Next game I got written down here, we got Steelers beat Buffalo 23-16. All I have is that Buffalo's offense could not get any rhyme, rhythm, or movement. They just couldn't.
I honestly didn't watch the game, but
Stephon Diggs was dropping passes. Josh Allen was getting sacked, not hitting throws. It was kind of a boring game, low key. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little boring.
yeah, I heard Big Ben didn't look too great. He's been washed up.
This wasn't that much fun of a game to watch. Nothing really produced ever. Like, I don't know. Tabby, anything?
Yeah, that's kind of a fluke
It wasn't
game.
a favorite game of mine, to be honest.
Really?
I don't really got much to say about it. It just wasn't like just one of those games you're watching. You're like, man,
very
I'm kinda bored.
exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing really exciting stood out to me in that game.
Yeah, I was pretty bored.
Yeah, week 1 can be a fluke, like for a lot of teams, because it's week 1. You know what I mean?
Next game I got is the Bengals beating the Vikings in overtime, and Jamar Chase finally showed he wasn't a kid that just drops passes. 5 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, everyone's saying he's overhyped. But I mean, him and Joe Burrow, that might be a scary duo for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Joey B's looking good.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings are overrated as hell. I mean, they're not. Their expectations aren't too high, but I think they're going to be bad this year. Because the Bengals aren't a great team. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have some weapons, I guess you could say. Jamar Chase. He's not going to do that every week. And didn't Joe Mixon get hurt?
I don't remember.
Pretty sure Joe Mixon got hurt, and he couldn't finish the game. But, like, other than that, the Bengals kind of suck. For the Vikings to lose to the Bengals, you know, I think the Vikings are trash. Like, they might be one of the worst teams in the league. That'll surprise everyone, in my opinion.
As a Packer fan, I also agree. I'm not a fan of the Vikings, but I was honestly surprised they did lose, especially in overtime. But Burrow, I know, did have, in the end of the second, he had like a 50-yard bomb to Chase. I was like, I think they really stepped up. And I think, again, just like with college football, with all the upsets like this, I think are going to flip the whole script of football, because you see big dog teams falling to these kind of underdog teams. But I think that's on purpose. I think those reigning teams are kind of coming to a close, and these other underdog teams are trying to step up.
One thing I like about it a lot, I agree with everything you said, Tab. One thing I liked about it a lot was when the Bengals got Jamar Chase, there was so much speculation from, I mean, even me and Meech gave speculation on it. Like, why wouldn't you get an O-lineman? You know, like your starting quarterback, your face of your team, Joe Burrow, just tore his ACL last year. Why aren't you getting an O-lineman? They get Jamar Chase. They go, well, look, we can get an O-lineman later in the draft. They did. And they're like, but this Jamar Chase-Burrow duo is important enough to us that we think it's worth it. Well, then everyone's like, yeah, we'll see. And then preseason came, and Jamar Chase is dropping everything. So then everyone's like, oh, my gosh, they're so dumb. Why would they do this? Jamar Chase isn't worth that pick. And first game, when it really matters, you know, the draft's gone, preseason's gone, all this like pre-hype BS is over, he balls out. You know, and I'm not saying he's going to do it all season, and I'm not saying he's going to be worth the pick. But I am saying I do respect the Bengals, and I respect Joe Burrow for sticking through it the whole time. They're like, it didn't matter what people said in the draft. It didn't matter what people said in preseason. We're going to show that this pick was worth it. And after that game, he played like a first-round draft pick. He played like a number 1 player.
You see what Joe
Absolutely.
Burrow said to the media after the game
I read something. It was something like,
about Jamar Chase? He's like, "Oh, I thought he was supposed to drop everything, huh?" Like
Yeah.
that's what he said, and he walked away. I was like, "That's fire."
yeah, but it's cool though because you know he wanted Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow wanted him. Let's be honest. He wanted him there.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah,
course.
but like
Yeah.
all the media is just bashing them for not getting an alignment. So when something that
He's a
you
first-round
never really hear compliments in sports. You only really hear the bad side. So I'm giving them a compliment. I'm complimenting the Bengals for that draft pick.
Wow, I don't think anyone said that. Bengals, good draft pick in a while.
The next game I got is 49ers beat the Lions 41-33. This game gave me similar Buffalo Steelers vibes. Very boring. Very, very boring. Jared Goff
Yeah, I
showed
didn't
he
watch
wasn't
that
that good.
game, so skip it. Who the fuck cares about the
Yeah.
Lions?
I think the
No.
only exciting part out of that was Trey Lance. That was it.
Trey Lance with his first touchdown in the NFL.
Yep.
Now the big game that for me
He
out
actually
of
did
everything that showed the most was the Cardinals are elite. They're no longer a speculation of or can they break good? Can they do this? They're elite because the Titans were so overhyped this going into this preseason. Like we have the best line. We have Derrick Henry. We have Julio Jones. We have AJ Brown. We have all these weapons, and they got slaughtered by the Cardinals. 38-13. Kyler Murray, 289 passing yards, 5 total touchdowns. They shut Derrick Henry down. Let's talk about this Cardinals defense. All right, we know about the offense. We know about Kyler Murray. We know about D-Hop. This defense, they shut Derrick Henry down to 58 yards. 58 yards. They shut Derrick Henry down. All right, their defense had 3 fumbles, 6 sacks, and an interception. And 5 of those 6 sacks came from Chandler Jones, who, if you don't remember about 3 podcasts ago, we were talking about him wanting to leave Arizona. I think he's very happy he didn't do that now.
J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Buda Baker. Yo, that defense is legit.
Insane.
Tyrann Mathieu too, right?
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Tyrann with Kansas City or is he with the Cardinals?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kansas City. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're
Tab,
right.
what you thinking about the Cardinals? What you think about that game?
I've always been a Hopkins fan. He was obviously the best Cardinal player out there. He was a magician with his feet, always playing them in. I think he was like the best Cardinals like wideout on that day. He was, given his 2 touchdown receptions. I wrote it down here, 83 yards receiving. And I think I'm probably going to put him into my fantasy because I'm really liking how he's looking. I always have been a fan of him, but he really showed out. And I really liked his feet game in this past game.
Oh, yeah. And I just think it's like, the Cardinals, like I'm a big Cliff Kingsbury fan. A lot of people give me hate for that. He's never really proved himself 100%. And I will agree with that. I'm someone that admits when I'm right and I'll admit when I'm wrong. He hasn't really done much. He's been on the verge of doing stuff and he's never capped it. Like there's a couple of Texas Tech teams he had, which were like right there and they just couldn't do it. We saw that last season with the Cardinals and they went 8-8. It was like they were so good, but they just couldn't get it. And I think now having this defense to focus on, because at first it was like, we play the Cardinals, we just shut down Kyler, we ghost or whatever, double cover D-Hop, and then we just outscore them. Well, now you can't depend on that because now your quarterback might die, So I feel like it makes them a very fun team to watch, personally. What do y'all think?
Definitely a fun team to watch, and they're sneaky good. But their division is disgusting too.
The division is so hard.
So they could be nasty and not even make the playoffs, which is crazy.
Wait, it's them, Seattle, Raiders, and
49. No, not the Raiders. Raiders are in the AFC.
No, it's them, Seattle,
49ers.
49ers. What's the other ones?
Who's the 4th team? Oh my gosh, someone obvious.
Yeah, I know this is gonna bother me. Come on, Tab.
I was trying to think of it too.
Seahawks, Cardinals.
It's a good team. Oh, Rams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn,
that's a division. 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams.
Yeah, that's by far the best division in the NFL. I saw a stat where it said each team in the division won their game by 10 or more points, undefeated.
Jesus.
But a game you didn't put on here, which couple games, Browns Chiefs.
Yeah, get into that. Talk about it.
Yeah, Baker. Well, the punter basically dropped the punt, and instead of like punting it for 30 yards, he tried to get up and run. I don't know if you saw that. Like he dropped the snap. And
That was what lost in the game. I saw them winning the beginning, and I didn't get to watch the end. I just saw that they came back.
and then Mahomes, they got the ball back in the 20-yard line. They scored a touchdown, and then like a minute and a half left, Baker threw an interception trying to win the game. But yeah, like the Browns are legit. They pretty much should have won that game. They led the entire game until the punter dropped that ball.
Well, if you remember last year in the playoffs, they should have beaten the Chiefs too with that helmet-to-helmet tackle fumble. Like they should have beaten. They should have won.
Dude, the Browns, like with their weapons, they should be, and their defense is good. Like they're
right, dude. They are legit, man. There's no more. Oh, the Browns. It's no more like the Browns are back. It's like, all right, you proved you're back. Now let's start winning stuff. You know.
As much as I can't stand the Browns, I just don't think Baker's got what it takes to win them a Super Bowl.
I'm a big Baker fan, man. I'm a big Baker fan.
Dude,
I think he can stick to his commercials. I don't think he's Super Bowl quality.
What'd you think about the game, though?
Yeah, there we go.
I think the game was really good. I'm not a huge Seahawk fan at all. To be honest, I've never been a fan of Russell Wilson or any of those guys, but it is an impressive win, and I actually do love Lockett. He had the first touchdown of the game, followed by another touchdown at the end of the second. I think he's honestly one of the best deep catchers. He kind of reminds me of Deshaun Jackson. He's just one of the best, like, always going to be in the deep end, going to catch him no matter what.
Best possession receiver, like, in a long time. Like, he's always there for, he's like a safety blanket for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the other big games. Chargers beat Washington. Super boring game.
Patriots.
What happened?
You watched Dolphins Patriots game?
I did not. No, I was in chapter. You want to give us a little
watched that, and Mac Jones had a really good game. He basically ran the Patriots dink and dunk system perfectly. He had like 10 incompletions. That Belichick dink and dunk, but in the end, Dolphins came out on top 17-16. And Tua didn't really play well.
Dude,
they're already kicking Tua to the curb down in Miami. Even with the win, like the fans are not happy. I think Tua's trash.
Me too, yeah, I do too.
And Mac Jones, but that's just my bias as a Jet fan.
It just bothers me, bro, because people think like Tua was so much better than Jalen Hurts in college, and he really wasn't. He really wasn't doing anything.
Tua, I call him the one-hip wonder. Dude, He's got a whole fake mechanic hip.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have Justin Herbert, and there's like all these like, oh, Herbert's gonna win. He's gonna win the MVP. Like he's legit. He's not a rookie anymore. And he threw great. He just threw one touchdown. He threw like 300 something yards, like top 3 passing yards. He just couldn't score touchdowns. It was so frustrating. Super boring game. Now, a game that was not boring at all was the Saints routing the Green Bay Packers. Jameis had, 5 touchdowns?
Good old Jameis.
Dude.
Have you seen that
15 for 20, 148 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
We eat dubs. He's like, we eat dubs.
Yeah.
Dude, he's hilarious. All of his interviews, like, go viral just because of his facial expressions.
I'm a Jameis fan, obviously, because of he Florida State, Heisman, dad went Florida State.
I never liked Jameis, but I kind of like him now.
I didn't like how there was so much hate on him. Like, bro, he took a pay cut to go. He could have gotten paid more to go to Pittsburgh, but he took a pay cut to learn under Sean Payton. And then they're like, oh, well, we don't even know if he's the starter. And then he just torches Green Bay.
Well, that last year in Tampa Bay, he said he wanted more money because his stats speak for himself. And he led the league in interceptions. He's like, nah, I'm talking about the touchdowns and the yards, bro.
Dude, but I think it was good for him to learn under Drew Brees. He had to get the psychological aspect down, get the turnovers over with. But dude, the kid's good, man. Kid's good. Tab's a Green Bay fan, so I want to hear what you guys say.
Yeah, it's very difficult to be a Packer fan right now. My own mom has to text me and was saying, don't turn on the game if you haven't already. I have 2 Aaron Rodgers jerseys, but I think I'm gonna have to, maybe retire those just for a little bit. I think my new star, I've always loved him, Devontae Adams. He's back and hungry. I'm hoping he's gonna, kind of light the fire in Aaron Rodgers' ass a little bit and kind of get them kicked up. Saints have always been a problem for Packers. We've never really had the best of luck with them, but I mean, 3 points on the board, down 38-3 is just very embarrassing, very disappointing, considering how much we fought for Aaron Rodgers to be back, and he didn't really show much care to be there. So I'm hoping, Matt LaFleur kind of gets it together and gives us a little bit more inspiration next time because it's not looking too hot right now.
You Packers fans are so spoiled after one bad game. Yeah. Imagine how it feels to be a Jets fan. I've seen them get destroyed 49-0 on Monday Night Football to the Patriots.
It's called standards, baby. We're stockholders. We're the only team. I'm stockholder. I paid money to own them. They better perform better.
Dude, it's just I saw a
ready
very
to
funny
throw
game.
Aaron Rodgers away after one bad game.
Listen.
One bad game, not even. It's been a bad few years. Like, I can't even put this on confidently anymore because I feel like this is just a piece of mold now. It's not even fresh cheese. Aaron Rodgers is all moldy and washed up. He's not the same 2010. I can appreciate some Aaron Rodgers slander because I think he needs to get a little bullied.
But he just won the MVP last year.
He was the MVP.
He was the MVP of the league.
I know, but his attitude is just not there anymore. He's not the same. He looks a little depressed.
So the problem. All right, I have two things.
2-14 last year.
There's
2-14.
Two things I want to say. First one, I gotta say, I saw a funny meme last night that was like the last team to lose to the Saints 38-3 won the Super Bowl because that's what happened to the Bucs last year. So there is hope. Okay. Two, the problem is Aaron Rodgers is a little prima donna. There is no fire under his butt because he knows, you're going to start Jordan Love over me? He knows it's not going to happen. Everything he's ever wanted, he's gotten. So what bothers me is this whole organization is firing people, hiring people, trading, doing everything for you. And you still bitch and complain about it, bro. You make hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're one of the best at what you do. Shut up and win football, bro. Like, God,
that's I get. That's why we get frustrated because we are a stockholder team. We want to be able to take pride in that. We're one of the only team. We're the only team that does that. And growing up, my mom went to the Super Bowl in 2010, saw that. She just knows firsthand after watching him at that Super Bowl, he's not the same. And I don't even agree with McCarthy. We had him for a long time, and we just dropped him randomly last year. Why? Because Aaron was just being a little prima donna, not listening. Then we got McFlurry over here. He's not listening to him either. So I think honestly, the captain is not even anyone else but Aaron. I think he's the runner of the team, which is not how it's supposed to be. I miss the OG Packers so much.
Now you're in this predicament of, we don't want Aaron anymore, but we just gave him a fuck ton of money, and we have been babying him for 8 years. So what? We just cut Aaron, we lose all this money, and then we suck on top of that? So it's like you guys are in a predicament now based off of your past. Like, you kind of have to rock with him. Like, regardless if he wants to play or not, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, it's a questionable season for sure.
Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers. He should be able to run the team. Look what he's done for that organization since he's been there. If I was Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't give a shit either. Who wants to live in Green Bay, Wisconsin? I'd be like, you either pay me the money and get my players, or I'll take my services elsewhere. I don't blame him one bit. He could go to LA and go play for the Chargers and be chilling, him and Shailene Woodley down at Venice Beach. I do not blame him one bit. If the Packers don't get on their knees and kiss his toes, that's their problem. That's their fault. They screwed up. They better do whatever it takes for that man to stay in Green Bay. Because if I was Rodgers, I would be like, fuck you. All 31 other teams will take me, no problem. No question.
I hate you so much.
So you Packers fans better be thankful
He's
for
like,
what
in Meech's mind, it's like, why be in Green Bay, Wisconsin when you can be for the Jets, baby? Like, let's go.
Yeah, or be in New York City, with your beautiful.
I don't think my mom's gonna like you very much after this podcast because she's sitting in Green Bay right now watching this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not hating on Green Bay. I'm just generalizing. They better kiss the floor that Aaron Rodgers walks on, or he'll leave.
But yeah, so Tab, you want to talk us a little bit about the Rams game? You want to cover that up?
Yeah, I'm in a survivor pool. We had about 108 guys, and I'm sure a lot of people know the basic rules of that. Pick a team only once each week who's going to win. Thank God I didn't pick my Packers because I knew we were going to lose, not by that much. But I did pick my Rams and got to live another week, excited on that. That was a very good game. I also hate the Bears, so I kind of knew the Bears suck too. But knew the Bears weren't going to win that anyway, but I think Rams are honestly looking really hot this season. I think they're actually going to do really well.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, I'm a little biased to the Rams because I met Sean McVay when I was younger. Super dope guy. Super dope guy. If you can meet him, I recommend doing it. Very awesome dude. When I met him, though, he was the OC for the Redskins, so he wasn't as, or for the football team. He wasn't as big named yet. But so obviously I'm a little biased to them. But dude, to see Matthew Stafford have a real team around him was awesome. That was so much fun to watch. It just showed that he actually is as good as people have been saying he is. It really showed. And the thing about that makes him happy too is when he played for the Lions, he kind of had this mindset that if we don't score this drive, we're going to lose the game. We have to score every drive. Well, now you're with the Rams. You have way less pressure on you because your defense is so good. So he's able to loosen up and throw some throws that he maybe not have thrown before. It's got to be nice to be him. Especially when he kind of was calling the plays. He was kind of doing everything. Detroit failed him. They got him out. I think it's a great decision. And as far as the Bears, they're the same team with different players. They're the exact same team with different players. That's plain and simple.
I agree. They did it really well. They had a really great offensive line. They were able to hold up and have a good pass protection against Chicago. And I saw a few other players have a great start to their career with Tyler Higbee. Seems like he could be in line. Seems like he's going to have a career season now. He's working with Stafford. So I think Stafford, I agree, has a really good team behind him now. And a lot of these guys are motivated.
For sure. What do you think of Meech?
The Rams are, dude, I got them in the Super Bowl, honestly.
No way. That ass?
Defense is stacked. All they really needed was a quarterback. I've always liked the Rams.
Me too.
They made it to the Super Bowl that one year, and it was kind of all on Jared Goff as to why they put up 3 points. So, dude, they have Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, a revamped offense. Basically, they still have their core from the past 4 years where they've been pretty dominant, except for, I'd say, 1 year in between. But I don't see why they couldn't make it to the Super Bowl, at least the NFC Championship, even with that tough division.
For sure. Let's talk about so we basically covered all the big games. Let's talk about some individual performances. I like how Tab wanted to talk about the rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to start us off with that. Let's talk about T. Law. So he started off not too good, man. Not too good, but he did bounce back. Finished 332 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He only got sacked 1 time for 13 yards.
His team did horribly.
Yeah, so that's when it comes to it's so hard to say. I want him to ball out. I want him to be the best quarterback ever. I'm a huge T-Law fan. I love the guy, but it's really hard to say what's going to happen with him with that team. Urban Meyer ain't it. He's not the coach that's going to build him. He's not.
Yeah, that experiment's going to fail.
Yeah, that's a failed experiment 100%. I don't know what Tab. What'd you think about T-Law this weekend?
I was a little bit apprehensive and a little bit cautious about how he was going to perform. I think I'm like that with all of these rookie quarterbacks because, NFL is so different than college. And I was just waiting for some of these guys to get sacked and start crying in the middle of the field. But I think I actually like T-Law. He has a beautiful wife. They're happily married now and they're young. And I think he's going to be a fresh, new, little tiny newborn to the NFL community. So I'm excited to see more of what he does.
You think that he has to leave the Jags to build a career, or you think he's gonna?
Absolutely, I don't like him on the Jags at all. Don't like him. I see him as as weird as it is. I definitely see him maybe in a Browns jersey.
All right, I thought you were gonna say Packers. I was gonna be get the.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I could see Trevor Lawrence just being a good quarterback in a shitty team for a long, long time.
Yeah, like a Stafford, right? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he needs to get out because I don't think he should.
But dude, I think they're too shitty for him to be a Stafford. That's the problem.
He's gonna be a big fish in a small pond. It's not worth it.
It's not. Yeah, but they are making bread off of his name.
Yeah.
Bread. So much money.
That's kind of the perfect place for him to go with Urban Meyer and in Jacksonville. They got just that college football vibe, which everyone loves down there. So.
Next, we talked about Mac Jones a little. What about what's Zach Wilson? Let's talk. Meech, let us know how Zach Wilson did. Let's say
Wilson, dude, he looked good. You won't see it, but he was throwing some zingers, and they were just getting dropped and a lot of drops. And the O-line is fucking horrendous for the Jets. Literally wouldn't even give him time to set his feet. And he still – there was one drive where he took them down from the 7-yard line for a 93-yard drive like that, and it looked like – I call him the Mormon Mahomes.
I love that.
He's
I
gonna
love
be
that.
legit. That's what all the Jets fans call him, the Mormon Mahomes. But he's gonna be legit, I think, dude. He's got like a zip on the ball. He's fitting the ball into tight spaces, and dude, he's like, I think he's gonna be a beast as long as the Jets can give him some protection. Mekhi Becton, the left tackle on the Jets, just like sprained his MCL, so that's not good. It's going to be a long season. I didn't think the Jets were as bad as they are, but, I mean, it's definitely going to be a significant improvement from last year without Adam
Let's
Case.
get a record prediction. Whoa, my bad.
I think they'll get, optimistically, the most wins they'll get is 7. I'm thinking realistically 5
7
wins.
and 10 season. Whoa!
Yeah, that's a good – it's probably their ceiling.
What do you think, Tab? What do you think about Zach Wilson this weekend?
I feel bad for the kid, quite honestly. I think he had a lot of promise, but I agree with me. It's not his fault at all. I mean, the kid had 6 sacks, I think. That is not his fault. He had no pocket protection at all. And, I mean, the Panthers did say they were going to – I think they said something about making his first game a living hell. And I think they did do that, unfortunately. So I hope the guys on the Jets kind of get it together and protect Zach Wilson, because I would like to see him do better and have a little bit more opportunity to throw those more dimes and have him not dropped as well.
No, so Meech, just throw a little 360 at you. What do you think about Sam Darnold on Panthers?
Darnold, he looks like different, honestly. He looked like a different quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't like making those rookie mistakes. I mean, he was playing the Jets, and our secondary is pretty horrendous. And he's got Christian McCaffrey there now, and he basically just fed Christian McCaffrey the whole time. And he had that one, signature bomb to Robbie Anderson that he used to do on the Jets all the time. And Robbie Anderson went in the end zone, did the Jets dance. So that was pretty fucking disrespectful.
He did just come here and show like his former team up completely.
Yeah, him and Robbie Anderson was on the Jets too. So yeah, he threw a 60-yard bomb to him, it was the safety's fault. It was like our third string safety. He just didn't want to play coverage. So, Sam Darnold, he'll be an average quarterback for the rest of his career. I think he's got a career ahead of him, but, played well enough to win. I'd say if Sam Darnold was on the Jets and roles were reversed, the Jets would have lost by like 25 points.
So you think if Wilson was on the Panthers, they would have clapped them? They would have clapped them.
Yes.
It's old.
I believe that. Wilson is nice. The Jets' offense, not nice. Trash. So at least that's good. I think the Jets have their quarterback. So.
Oh, yeah. So we broke it all down. Let's give a little breakdown for tonight's game. We got the Ravens at the Raiders. Las Vegas. Oh, you good? Las Vegas. Oh, you good? Good.
Hear that echo?
Yeah, it's echoing. All right. Ravens at Raiders. We got Baltimore's a minus 3.5. The over-under is 50.5. What are we thinking? How are we thinking tonight's going to go? I'll go first. I'm extremely biased. John Gruden always. I'll always root for Gruden. Never go against him. I think the deciding factor, though, is going to be 2 things. I think, one, Gruden has a defense. All right. Their offense was always good. That was never a question. They have good offense. They have a lot of weapons. They move the ball down the field. The problem was they would lose shootouts. You saw it with Kansas City. You saw it with the Eagles. You saw it in certain games last year. They would just lose shootouts. They just hired Gus Bradley. For everyone, including you guys who don't know who Gus Bradley is, when the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl with Russ and they had like the Legion of Doom defense, he was their defensive coordinator. So now you're giving a John Gruden offense a very powerful defense with Derek Carr ran. You also have a bunch of injuries and question marks with the Ravens. I honestly see the Raiders upsetting, and I like them by 10 points.
So it's minus 3.5. Ravens are favorited, right?
Yeah, I don't know like the numbers and stuff, but I think the Raiders win by 10.
I'll take the Raiders with the spread. I could see the Ravens winning by 3. So I'll take Raiders plus 3.5. Yeah, I think the Ravens aren't as good as people think. Like J.K. Dobbins is out. They don't really have a running back. Like
They're playing
Le'Veon,
with a third string and a practice squad running back.
yeah, like Le'Veon Bell just got signed. So that's kind of all you have to know.
And Devontae Freeman.
Hollywood Brown wasn't as good as he was the year before last year. Maybe he'll bounce back. He probably will. Lamar's Lamar. He kind of, compared to his MVP season, kind of settled down there last year. But, in the Ravens defense, they're good, but it's not like in years past. So, I don't know. I think the Raiders definitely have a shot to win. So, I think it'll be a close game, honestly.
Tab?
Gus Edwards is also out. Ravens are winning. You still have Mark Edwards and Marquise Brown. Those guys are gonna. I think you guys are wrong. I think Ravens are gonna win tonight. I'm not sure by how much. I think it's gonna be a close game, if anything. But I have confidence in the Ravens. I've always liked them.
Yeah, I've got Ravens by 3.
I just think the problem is when you play the Ravens, right? You load the box up regardless. You put your corners lined up on the receivers. You put one safety, maybe a 2 safety, or like an extra linebacker out, or bring a safety down. You load the box up, and your game is the option. All right, you shut down Lamar's running, you make him throw the ball, and you shut down the run game. There is no threat tonight outside of Lamar. Whoever they put at running back, he's not J.K. Dobbins, he's not the other guy they had. There's no threat. So I think they're just going to load the box up, and if they just bring a different linebacker every play and let them know someone's coming, you shut down Lamar and you make him play quarterback and throw, and you make his feet an option. They're not keeping up with Carr and Gruden's offense. They're just not. I just think the lack of threat is really going to hurt Lamar Jackson this season.
Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do. Lamar's going to have to be their running game. If they shut him down and force him to throw, like you said, it shouldn't be that hard considering they don't have a running back. Yeah, I could see the Ravens having trouble putting up points, honestly.
Yeah.
Even on a shitty Raiders defense. But
Any last second things y'all want to say? Well,
No.
Thanks for coming on, Tab. We appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you on here again soon.
Thanks for having me so much.
As always, let's go watch some of the Monday Night Football.
we have Tabatha on as like a third partner with another guest if she's down.
Yeah.